We're live from 3rd in Chicago. It's the home of the Huskies for the CIF High School Football Game of the Week. John W. North takes on the Titans of Notre Dame. I'm Ghazal Hassan. This is Jeff Gorham. And John W. North's defense has been stifling this year. They only give up 14 points over their first two games against Grand Terrace and Long Beach Jordan. Jeff, if we take that back to last year, they've only allowed 20 points over their last 5 games, largely due to their linebacking core, which is the focus of the defense, the law firm of Toki, Tupo, and Tupo.
I guess they're criminal defense. But I'll tell you what, you talk more about that defense. I'm going to talk about offense, and they have a special group led by Venancio Mekaele, the great running back we've talked about for 4 years, and they are starting to throw the football, so we are going to see a high-powered offense to go along with that great defense.
Very talented, very deep on offense. For Notre Dame, they've kind of been shifting through some transitions. This is their 5th head coach since 2017. Coach Carnell Hunt has come in, and the first thing he said to me, we talked earlier this week, the first thing he said to me is, hey, this team won a CIF title in 2015. That's what I want to work for. According to him, this team has been working really hard. They're young. They're inexperienced. They're going to need to get experience and learn on the job. It's a good test for them tonight. I do think they'll be better as we move forward into the season, Jeff.
And talking about pedigree, look at where he was. He was a walk-on at the University of Michigan. He coached at Long Beach Poly. Great pedigree of coaching. He sees that Notre Dame can once again be very, very good here in Riverside.
It's the Huskies and the Titans coming up next, the CIF on Riverside TV.
We are proud of the Riverside Police Department's tradition of integrity, service, and excellence. RPD officers are disciplined, well-trained professionals who always lean forward to make our community safer and more livable. We are always looking for mature, educated men and women who want to apply their courage and judgment to serve the people of Riverside. If that's who you are, we want to talk to you.
Well, welcome to the Doghouse, folks. John W. North, home game against Notre Dame. Ghazal Hassan and Jeff Gorham back with you. And it's week 2 for both teams. North 2-0. They've played twice. Notre Dame played last week. They lost to Hillcrest 33-6. They had their opening week game against Xavier Prep wiped out because of COVID protocol. And they're still missing some guys, Jeff Gorham.
Yeah, they are. And this is going to be really a tough test for this this Titan team. North, I think, is really trending upwards. I think right now they're the best team we've seen in Riverside. Notre Dame has a lot of question marks, but their head coach is going to bring it back. Coach Hunt, we'll figure out who his guys are, and we're going to see a different team than we are from week 2 to week 7.
Yeah, I mean, Notre Dame is kind of where North was back in 2018. Coach Dubois kind of left suddenly, and then Coach Brown came in. They had to build the foundation. Took a couple of years to do that. And then all of a sudden now, they went 10-2 in 2019. They had a good year last year. They won their last 3 games, and they started off this year strong. But the funny thing is, you talk to Dennis Brown, you talk to Opi Vaipulu, the Huskies head coach, all they're talking about is, we need to improve a lot of stuff.
Because I'll tell you what, they're looking to bring back, before the game, Coach Brown and I were talking, and you were with us, and he said, somebody told him, hey, North football is back. North football has always been here. They're just filling up the cupboard with great players, and they're looking for championships. They're looking to win league. They're looking to be the best in Riverside and the best possible team they can be.
So Notre Dame will kick it off. They won the toss and elected to defer to the second half. Dominic Ozeda will kick it off. He's a good athlete, a soccer player who's kicking for the Titans team. Back deep, Asan Elliott to take the kickoff for Notre Dame, along with Terrence Brown. Notre Dame in white, the familiar blue and gold. For John W. North went back to their traditional look. And here's the kick. Fielded at the 13-yard line. Dancing up to the 20, to the 30. Getting to the outside to midfield. He could go all the way. 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown. 87-yard touchdown return for John W. North. 6-0, just like that, out of the box.
Pretty good start, I'd have to say. We haven't seen that in a while.
Flag on the field, though, so it may all be coming back. 2 flags, as a matter of fact.
And usually when that happens, it's a hold or a block in the back. So we are not going to get that touchdown, but a great run.
So let's see what it'll come back to, and John W. North will then tee it up on offense. And, I talked mostly in the open, Jeff, about their defense, but as we discussed, their offense is pretty talented, and they're actually pretty deep this year.
I'll tell you, they've got some great receivers. They've got Granger. They've got Elliott. Those guys are phenomenal athletes, and it all starts with their quarterback, Gamble, and Venancio Michele.
So it'll start 1st and 10 from the 40 for John W. North. Jaden Gamble, and then Venancio Michele shifts behind him. They're going to throw. The lefty flings it out. It's complete to Granger, and he'll get into Notre Dame territory. Nearly a 20-yard pickup on the swing pass. Hassan Elliott with the reception on the swing pass from Jaden Gamble. And we talked with Coach Brown about this before the game, Jeff. I really think, listen, the bread and butter is going to be running between that big offensive line. Jaden Gamble, to me, is the X factor on this North team when they're in a playoff situation. He's going to be called on to win a football game for them.
And we've talked about it. They are a throwing team. They're not just a one-dimensional team. They can run, they can throw.
From the 38, Michele runs into some resistance early and gets knocked back. The first man there for Notre Dame on the defense was Thomas Hulskamp.
Yeah, talking about that Notre Dame defense, they're pretty phenomenal up front as well with young guys, but 7 defensive players on the defensive side are underclassmen.
So I think that was Mario Roca on the left end. So we have him in our program as 11, but I know he plays offensive line. And so they probably switched the number because he was a tight end who moved to the O-line. Here's the throw down field for Gamble, and it's complete, and that's going to be a touchdown. Damian Ayala gets deep behind the defense for Notre Dame, and the strike from Jaden Gamble, just as we mentioned that he may have to win a game, he throws an absolute strike to Ayala for the touchdown.
A perfect pass, a quick pass. I mean, I didn't see it was wide open until he let it out of his hands. But what a great throw from the lefty.
We saw the young man Ayala last year against Notre Dame. He caught a couple of touchdown passes, but that was just one over-the-top 38-yard strike from Gamble to Ayala. On for the PAT is Jose Lara. He made 4 of 5 PATs last week. And we were talking with Coach Brown. He'll kick out of the hole to Jeremiah Calhoun. And the kick is up, and it's good. They were recruiting up until the last minute. Damian Ayala, the man who just scored the touchdown, he was the guy who kicked in week 1. Michael Lara came on after an open tryout in week 2, and he just put that PAT through the uprights.
It's always nice when you can go out and recruit of the soccer program. But then you have to teach those guys how to kick, and you got to teach them the rules some of the time.
Well, we were joking with him. Michael Lara, Jose Lara made a tackle last week.
He did. That's
we always talk about some of the kickers don't really want to tackle. Jose Lara was all about it.
I love it.
So quickly 7-0 in favor of John W. North. And so Notre Dame will get their first shot. Back deep to receive for Notre Dame. Julian Mercado is back, along with Jacob Leon.
That's strange. Coach Brown is a Notre Dame alumni.
All the Brown brothers,
All
right?
The Brown
well,
brothers.
I guess no. His older brother went to Mater Dei.
Mater Dei, yes.
In fact, the elder Brown played with current Mater Dei head coach Bruce Rollinson, both at Mater Dei and at USC. Lara booms it to the corner. And out of bounds, almost a nice catch there along the sideline. And Notre Dame will start it up. Here's the offense. Andrew Waleski, the big-armed quarterback. Watch Aiden Taylor. C.J. Broy unavailable today, so the next man will need to step up. And that offensive line, they're waiting for a couple of guys to get healthy on the offensive line. Fabian Benevetto, who's a junior guard, and also they're waiting on an eligibility on a transfer, Stephen Thomas, who's a sophomore but a very talented player who Coach Hunt feels will help this team. So Leon the lone setback for Notre Dame. Here's Mercado in motion. Play action. Waleski on the roll to throw. Complete to Mercado. And the tackle made on the outside for John W. North by Elijah Hughes.
Yeah, we've talked about Elijah Hughes for a number of years. Seems like he's been here for 8 years.
Well, Elijah, remember, he played his freshman year at Notre Dame.
That's right. That's right.
So nominal gain, 2 yards up to the 37-yard line, brings up 2nd and 8. Split out to the bottom of your screen is Kevin Miller for Notre Dame. Leon the lone tailback. Waleski swings it to Mercado. Mercado 35, dancing at the 40, leans forward close to a first down.
I like what Notre Dame's doing, though. They're getting their receivers open in the flat, giving them some space to run behind those big boys up front.
So 6 yards on that play. Little dink and dunk makes it 3rd and manageable, though. And this is what Notre Dame will have to do. You know, we saw the quick strike from North, Jeff. Notre Dame's going to have to do extended drives, and the key is to keep that explosive North offense off the field. Mercado to the top of your screen. Split out to the bottom of your screen is Miller. Flex to the near side now in motion is Fierro for Notre Dame. More play action. Waleski swallowed up. Now he'll run for the first down. He'll angle out into North territory, crossing the 50-yard line, about a 5-yard pickup. Standing him up on the outside was Andre Lindsey for North, and a fresh set of downs for the Titans.
Well, Waleski, nice move. Way to get right through the hole there in the middle, and smart enough to just get out of bounds.
Carnell Hunt, first-year head coach at Notre Dame. You mentioned in the open, played at Long Beach Poly, played for Jerry Jaso, and later coached for Raul Lara, two men he credits greatly in kind of determining his future. Has previously coached as an assistant at Poly, Long Beach, Jordan, Artesia, Orange Lutheran, and now he's the head coach at Notre Dame. Trips to the top of your screen. Leon, the lone setback. Split out to the near side is Miller. They'll give it to Leon right up the gut. Dive to the right side, couple of yards on the play. Clock continues to move. 2nd down for Notre Dame.
Yeah, it was also, you said he was a walk-on at University of Michigan, correct?
It really, I mean, he was. You're correct.
Yeah.
Played with a bunch of NFL guys, but that's even not the most interesting part of the story. We'll get to that as we get deeper into this one. Because he played on those screen, Miller to the bottom of your screen. Fierro in the far slot for Notre Dame. Now here comes Miller in motion. 2nd down. Waleski looking to throw. He's in trouble, and down he goes.
Well, that's the problem. That North defense, they're so quick, and those big guys up front are just pushing them back. Then the outside guys are coming to just taking care of business there. So that's the first time we've seen North really blitz and be successful here against the Titans.
Harrison Abakli was the first man there. He also was met at the quarterback by Christian Wilson. So good push by that defensive line for John W. North. And we know about that linebacking core, Jeffrey.
The law firm.
Toki, Tupo, and Tupo. Third and long. Need to get to the North 39 for a first down. Waleski to throw. He'll lob it for Leon. Leon to midfield, dives forward. Ball comes loose, but he was down. He'll get back to the initial line of scrimmage on the north side of the field. So about a 5-yard or 8-yard pickup. It'll be 4th and 9 coming up. So here's Ozeta on to kick. Back deep to receive for John W. North is Hassan Elliott. And he'll angle the punt out of bounds, and that's where North will start it off. They lead it 7-0, about 6 minutes to play here in the first quarter. Ghazal Hassan and Jeff Gorham with you. Great job this week on the coach's perspective. O.P. Vaipulu joining you.
It was
always
great.
fun to talk to Coach Vaipulu.
I had you on the show. You were fantastic.
Thank you.
And our guy Pep Fernando's showed up.
Always great to see Pep. He's got his show tonight. So the punt went out of bounds at the 30-yard line. That's where North will tee it up. To the top of your screen is Jeremiah Calhoun. Split out to the near side for the Huskies is Ashar Granger. In the near slot, Damian Ayala. 1st and 10 from the 31, Ayala in motion. And the give to Mikaele through that first round of resistance, maybe a yard on the play. And they've really keyed in on him, getting in there for the hit from Notre Dame. Augie Arnaz and Benny Valencia combine on the tackle. Two of the linebackers. They go 4-2-5, does Notre Dame. Defensive coordinator Rick Ponce coached at King. Also coached at Arlington, worked with our friend Jeff Roney. Little Roney ball.
Roney ball.
Remember Arlington a couple years ago when Rick Lunsford was the head coach and Jeff Roney was the defensive coordinator, they ran that 3-2-6.
That's right.
A little bit of a variation on that here for Notre Dame, and the flag goes against the Huskies, and they'll mark it off. And I think this is what Coach Brown and Coach Vaipulu were talking about with us. You know, the team's 2-0, and they've given up 14 points. And both Coach Vaipulu and Coach Brown said unprompted, we're making mistakes. When you clean up those mistakes, it's something like this when you get an unnecessary penalty early in the game.
And we are going to see that early in the year, and it's just natural what happens in high school football the first 3 weeks of the season.
Ball back inside the 30. The direct snap to Ayala, and Notre Dame got it. Ayala couldn't pick it up off the turf, and the turnover, I believe the fumble was recovered by Jacob Leon. Leon falls on it, and Notre Dame all of a sudden has very good field position, Jeffrey.
And talking about you can't make mistakes. They just make a mistake after we talk about it. Notre Dame very quick to get to the ball. Heads-up play from the Titans.
I mean, that was a more, heads-up play. I mean, that was more like, look what I found.
Yeah.
Jacob Leon could barely contain himself. He goes, wow, that ball's squirting right on the turf. I better jump on it.
And it was just sitting there.
Didn't try to pick it up. Didn't try to be a hero. Just good fundamental football. So 1st down and 10 for Notre Dame from the 26. Low snap. Wolski picks it up, a little dying quail in the air, and intercepted. Picked off by John W. North. That was Tyjon Payne with the pick. So the turnover goes back the other way.
So a flub of the snap. Looks like it might have got hit. And end over end, it was a duck. Ended up catching it.
It's interesting when you talk to Coach Vaipulu, Jeff. He says, hey, our back seven is our key. Our secondary is very good, and our linebackers are really good. But I think that the defensive line is going to be very good for that North team as they play. Their only crime is they haven't played a whole lot.
That's true. And if those big boys up front can tire up guys and you have the athletes and quickness like you have in the secondary, they're going to cause some problems.
Granger to the top of the screen. Elliott flexed out to the near side. Split out to the bottom of your screen is Calhoun. Shifting in the backfield is Mikaele. Here's the give to Elliott. Elliott pounding up. And again, initial resistance and finally goes down. I think the first man to hit him for Notre Dame was Aiden Taylor stepping up on defense. Taylor's also going to play some running back for the Titans. Maybe a yard on the play.
But pretty darn good defense so far here from Notre Dame.
We mentioned Rick Ponce, their defensive coordinator, very familiar with the city of Riverside, having coached at both King and Arlington. So he's probably watching a lot of film. From the 34, it's a 2nd and 9. Ayala in motion. Play action. Gamble, the lefty, lofts it down the field. It is complete at the 45-yard line doing the toe tap, getting up near midfield into Notre Dame territory is Ashar Granger. And so Granger picks up the first down, 19-yard pickup. Sticks move up for the Huskies.
Nice to see Granger out there, one of their leading receivers. You know, his dad is an alum of North, one of the greatest basketball players to ever play here, and that says something good. Desmond Granger, his father, was a phenomenal basketball player, great athlete.
Started his career, did Granger, at Santiago, playing for our friend Scott Morrison. He's a basketball guy, too.
Yes, he is.
So his dad was a basketball player. It makes sense. First down from the Notre Dame 46. Gamble, quick throw to the slot. Complete to Ayala to the 39-yard line. 7 yards on the play. Nice route just up the seam. Second and 3 from the 39 of Notre Dame. Michaele shifts up. Here's Gamble. He's going to drop it off to Michaele. And Venacio's going to run and finally get shoved out of bounds inside the 30-yard line, making the play for Notre Dame, Augie Arnez.
So now we're starting to see a little bit of rhythm here with his offense. And try to get it to Michaele.
It's interesting. North kind of doing what Notre Dame was looking to do. Hey, get the ball in the hands of our playmakers, and let's make something happen. So Calhoun splits out to the top of your screen, and Ayala's next to him, and next to him, Elliott. Granger split out to the near side for John W. North. Now Michaele shifts up for the Huskies. First down throw towards the corner. Over the shoulder, incomplete, intended for Ashar Granger. One-on-one coverage out there. On the coverage for Notre Dame, Julian Mercado. Good notion there by Gamble to just drop it in, but couldn't quite complete it. Second down coming up.
It looked like Granger just turned the opposite direction. I bet he wishes he had that one back.
Second and 10 from the 28 for North. Michaele right up the middle. Second level, Michaele looking for people to hit. Finally pounds down inside the 10-yard line. An 18-yard pickup for Venacio Michaele running behind the big boys up front.
Yeah, and look at, like you said, he's looking for guys to hit. He's not trying to find a hole. He's looking for guys.
Almost like playing pinball. You want the tilt action, right?
The carom.
Right. So inside the 10, the sticks are down. It's a first and goal. And those big boys up front, Andrew Castro, Dom Vargas, TJ Taracio, Arthur Marquez, Manny Ramirez, 3 of them saw really significant time over the spring. Gamble to the outside, complete to Granger. This time he's in. Touchdown, John W. North.
See, that makes up for that missed catch right there. Nice little screen pass.
I like what I've seen from Gamble early. He's relaxed in the pocket. He's very poised, and he likes to spread the wealth. We've seen him throw to Ayala. We've seen him throw to Granger. He threw a pass to Venacio Michaele earlier. Not afraid to use all of his targets.
And talking to Coach Brown, that's exactly what he said. He said he's going to hit a lot of different players because there are such great athletes on this team. Great weapons.
PAT is good, 14-0. At 2:35 of the first quarter, John W. North in the lead here. You know, these teams played, I wouldn't say tax day, but it wasn't tax day because tax day was a Monday this year. They played back on April 15th, and North won that in the spring 34-0. But keep in mind, Notre Dame over the spring only had 22 players suited up, and there was some doubt. Some people expressed some doubt whether they're going to field a football team in the fall. Luckily, they are, and they seem to be in good hands with Coach Hunt.
Yeah, and it seems like, you know, a lot of programs have had problems. Citrus Hill wasn't sure if they were going to field a team. In fact, they didn't play week 1 because they didn't have enough players. So, yeah, there's going to be a lot of issues with high schools, not just in Southern California, but I think nationwide, of getting players to come out and actually play.
Leon and Mercado are deep for Notre Dame. They trail 14-0 with 2:35 left in the first quarter. Lara to kick. End over end into the 12-yard line, fielded by Leon. 20. Stutter step, leans forward to the 25. So a 13-yard return, and Notre Dame will start at the 25-yard line. Now, I talked with Coach Hunt earlier this week. He expects his numbers next year to be up to around 45, which is, for a school the size of Notre Dame, that's about what you're going to be. 40, maybe 50 in a good year, maybe 60.
Yeah, I think Notre Dame, their enrollment's right around 400.
Right. And I think when they won the CIF title in 2015 under Derek Johnson, it was about 45 guys, right?
That's right. That's right.
Still in the first quarter. Huskies football, 1st and 10. The give to Leon, fighting on the left side of that line, running right, hitting the left side of the line. He's bent back immediately. Half-yard loss.
See, if I was playing, that's how I'd want to get tackled. See, I didn't go to the ground. Just stand up. Yeah, you're not getting any turf.
DeCastro, Wilson, Abakerly, and Danny Salvador, the front four for North. And Coach Vaipulu is an old D-line coach, so he's going to know all the tricks.
He's an angry guy. That's defensive line guys. I'm always scared to talk to Vaipulu.
Waleski, 2x2, goes Notre Dame. Here's the pressure, and he throws, and it's incomplete. And he's got to get rid of that in a hurry. He had two big boys bearing down on him. Abakerly and big Christian Wilson. How do you just find a guy like Christian Wilson? He goes about 6'5", 240. Forced a fumble last week against Jordan. Athletic kid. Third down coming up.
That's a large person.
And you coming from you, that's an endorsement.
It is an endorsement. I've got him by a little bit.
You can jump higher, though, or you could at one point.
I still can jump higher than him, I bet.
Okay.
We'll put phone books out there.
Trips to the top of the screen. Wolski throws to the outside. Waleski, and it's incomplete. Intended receiver on the outside there was Gabriel Catanova. Elijah Hughes was sniffing around there. Incomplete, 4th down.
Yeah, I have a vertical jump of about 4 inches now. So 2 phone books. But now you say, what's a phone book? Because nobody knows.
Nobody knows what a phone book is. No joke. What was your top when you were in your prime? What were you, 37, 47?
I was in the 40s.
You were in the 40s?
I was a high-leaping fella. Now I'm a low-leaping.
I have to tell a funny Gorham story. I know people get annoyed when I do, but I don't think you've heard this one before. Dominic Ozeda will punt, and a line drive kick takes a Notre Dame bounce and bounces out of bounds at about the 40. Not quite as good. I thought it was going to roll to midfield, but that's the kick. So I had a chance some years ago on the basketball side to work with Danny Griffin. Danny Griffin was a big star at Crenshaw, and he was played at UNLV and then finished up at Rhode Island. And you and he played together or against each other or together in AAU.
We played a lot of together in AAU national circuit stuff.
And so I just met you. I didn't know you that well. Yeah. And he said, hey, when you talk to Gorham, you tell him, ask him about our dunking contest. And I thought he was making fun of you, and he's like, no. It's like me and Gorham used to go and practice. We used to go dunk for dunk with each other.
Oh yeah, he had the longest arms in the world.
Right.
But one of the greatest. Yeah, I could leap. I was
Danny was 6'7" and played center because his arms were like 6'9".
Yeah, he had like 8-foot long arms, 9-foot long arms.
From the 38-yard line, North up 14-0. It's 1st and 10. Gamble, the lefty, slings it complete to Elliott inside the 30, down to the 25-yard line.
I love watching his release. Watch here in the replay. Very compact throw, but just smooth. I mean, it just looks effortless.
Tackle on the play made by Jacob Leon. Ball 13-yard pickup to the 25 for North. Yeah, such a smooth delivery by Campbell. He's lefty. You know who's a lefty who had a smooth delivery was Mike Vick back when he was in the Virginia Tech days. Right up the middle, Venasio Mikaele down at the 1-yard line. Talk about rumbling downhill, Jeff Gorham. 24 yards on the play. Nobody wanted any of that smoke, as the kids say now.
No, they had to do a shoestring tackle. Nobody wants to run into that.
I mean, he's coming top speed, just running downhill, touchdown-saving tackle by Julian Mercado, and you're right, got him around the shoelaces.
Yeah, I'm not running in front of him.
So 1st and goal from the 1. Great field position for North, and they capitalize. Full house backfield. Here's the give, and just sauntering in is Mikaele, finishes the job. Touchdown, John W. North, and they go up 20-0.
It was a very nice saunter.
Not only did he score, Jeff, he looked good doing it.
He's very smooth.
I mean, and all joking aside, we've been watching him since he was a freshman, and what a force he's been.
I remember the first game we ever saw him. He hurdled a guy that was about 6 feet tall and ran for about 65 yards.
It was Grant Terrace, right?
Yes. And I'll tell you what, I was like, who is this kid? A freshman.
I think that might have been Dennis Brown's first year as the PAT is up and through, and it's 21-0 North as we come to the end of the first quarter.
Well, it's funny is that, I've been talking to a lot of people this week, a lot of coaches around. They go, hey, you have North this week. I said, yeah. He goes, they were really good. And I said, yep. And he goes, that little running back is special. I said, you're just finding out about this? So a lot of people are tuning in tonight just to see this young man run. But he runs with pain. It just looks like he would just, if he ran anywhere near you, the wind itself might hurt.
Mikaele, 2,517 career yards, had 1,000 yards his first 2 years. 12 touchdowns as a freshman, 15 as a sophomore. Limited action last year in the spring season, only carried the ball 30 times. So a big weekend for John W. North. School back in session. Their students back out here at the doghouse.
My favorite band in the world, the Blue Star Regiment's here.
They're very good.
They've been in Rose Bowls. They've been in movies. They have been everywhere. I mean, I'm not kidding around. Let's see. Look at the fans. A lot of fans here at the game. Great student section.
I don't want to embarrass her, but I think Carrie, who's in the truck with us, our fine graphics person, I think she was a member of that band.
She was?
I believe she was.
My very first high school girlfriend was in the Blue Star Regiment.
John W. North Band, yeah.
She carried the tuba well.
My good friend Ahmed Ahmed, who you guys were in high school at the same time.
Yeah.
He's a comic actor. His older sister, she was part of the Color Guard Regiment.
Oh.
Yeah.
There's nothing better than the Blue Star.
I mean, that's the whole thing. It was a whole community, right? Like, no matter what you did, no matter what you were good at, there was a place for you. If you could play football, you could play football. If you could be in the band, you could be in the band. If you could be in the Color Guard, you could be in the Color Guard.
I'm telling you, man, the band at one time, they had hundreds of people. They just march out there. It took like 10 minutes just to get them out.
So Notre Dame called timeout there to kind of reset something, reset the return. I think there was some confusion. Mercado was back. Nobody was back with him now. Jacob Leon is back with him.
Yeah, she played a romantic tuba.
Tuba is a very romantic instrument. Mercado backpedaling, lets it go over his head and bounce into the end zone, and they'll come out to the 20-yard line for the Titans of Notre Dame. So we'll tell that story about Coach Hunt. So he played that 97-98. So at the end of the 90s, 97, 98, 99, Division I final, 3 years in a row was Mater Dei and Long Beach Poly. Poly won in 97, Mater Dei won in 98, and they tied in 99. It was Matt Leinart, the Matt Leinart Mater Dei.
That's right.
And Coach Hunt told me, he said, I was a backup because the two starting quarterbacks were Darryl Rideau and Kareem Kelly, who both later played for Pete Carroll at USC, and they were both state 100-meter champions. So he's like, I was pretty good, but I wasn't as good as them. And as a walk-on, he was in the coach's office one day, and one of the Michigan recruiters came in, and he said, hey, Coach Jaso connected him with the Michigan recruiter, and he ended up getting an opportunity to walk on at Michigan. Waleski first down, throwing. It's complete to Fierro, but right there making the play for John W. North is Toki. Toki, Tupou, and Tupou. Toki got there first and knocked him down, the senior linebacker, so quick off the edge. 4-year player, 3-year starter for the Huskies. But anyway, I mean, he got a chance to walk on at Michigan, even though he didn't start at Poly. That's how good those Poly teams were. And then he got to Michigan, and
pretty good.
Tom Brady, David Terrell,
Terrific Tom.
Anthony Thomas, Victor Hobson, B.J. Askew, linebacker just started. Larry Foote played for the Steelers in the Super Bowl. Jonathan Goodwin was an offensive lineman. He played for the Saints on their Super Bowl team in 2009.
All those guys are retired except for Terrific Tom.
That's right. End of the first quarter. So, he went out to Ann Arbor and had a great experience, but unfortunately had an accident after his freshman year in college and injured his back. And if you look on the sideline, you'll notice Coach Hunt in a wheelchair, but did not let that affect his passion for football and his passion to help kids. And he told me it was Raul Lara who had taken over for Jerry Jaso at Long Beach Poly and said, "Son, you need to come and coach." And he told me straight up, he said, both Coach Jaso and Coach Lara played a very positive role in my life, turning it around as we get a look at Coach Hunt.
Very nice.
Just a delightful, you met him today. It's a delightful guy to talk to, And you can see why the Notre Dame administration liked him and hired him. Just nothing but positivity from from that man with these young kids.
Well, great story. And I'll tell you what, I'd love to sit and just pick his brain as we look at, he was the assistant, like you said, the assistant at Long Beach Poly, defensive coordinator at Artesia, assistant at Orange Lutheran, defensive coordinator at Long Beach Jordan. A pretty darn good resume from that.
And he put together a great staff. We talked about Rick Ponce, his offensive coordinator is Coach Eric Torres, who comes over from Olu. His QB coach is Alan Davis, who was at Arlington with Jeff Roney. I met the gentleman, his assistant head coach is a gentleman named Oscar McBride, who played at Notre Dame for Lou Holtz. Second down coming up. Here's Waleski to throw middle of the field. Incomplete. Pass intended for Mercado. Looming, though, was Leo Tupo for John W. North. Third down coming up. And that's why I love covering this level, all the great stories, on both sides. Great stories. We talked to Dennis Brown, and Dennis Brown is just a fountain of information about just not only high school football, but the Riverside area. His family so prominent in the area. 3rd and 7 coming up from the 23 for Notre Dame. Waleski's got a little bit of time. No, not too much. Down he goes. Ball comes out. Manny DeCastro and Harrison Abakerly meet at the quarterback.
It's always nice seeing Coach Brown. Our paths probably have crossed.
Well, look at Abakerly there. That's a straight bull rush.
That's just meanness.
Just quickness and strength.
Yeah, the Brown brothers and the Gorham family, we have crossed paths for years. It's nice seeing him. I shouldn't say he's an older man. He still looks like a little kid to me because we kind of grew up together. It's weird.
Isn't it?
He's an assistant principal here at North High School.
Football definitely a family affair for the Browns. Low snap. Ozetta gets it away, and this will take a Notre Dame bounce. Bounces off of Elliott. He recovers it at about the 38, and then flags come in. Hassan Elliott receiving the punt.
There is a flag on the play, though. That's not what North wants right now. That's a personal foul. Question is, where will they start the penalty?
It's a big 15-yarder. Back it off to midfield. Still good field position. I mean, North has done a great job with their field position this year, or tonight. So 15-yard penalty marched off against the Huskies. They're pretty much in command, though, Jeff. 21-0. I mentioned the last 5 games they've played, they've allowed just 20 points. If you take it back to the 2019 season, Jeff, that's, I think, encompassing 17 games. They've allowed under 13 points a game dating back to 2019. Gamble, nice and easy to the slot. There's the completion to Elliott, and he's off to the races. Touchdown North, Hassan Elliott. 50-yard throw and catch from Jaden Gamble.
Holy smokes, and he looked like he was in fast motion. Talk about breakaway speed.
We've seen Gamble put air under it, and that was just a simple slant route. He caught it and just kept going. Elliott, obviously, the hardest thing there was to make sure he secured the ball, because once he had it, he was gone.
Get that guy on the track team, for God's sakes.
Jose Lara, the senior, on to kick the PAT, and whistles and flags come in on this one.
Both of these teams, though, have had some great players over the years. Just recent times, Kenyon Barner was one of those guys. But my favorite North football player of all time, Chris Claiborne.
That's right. Claiborne coaching now. Was at Calabasas for a little bit.
He's a good basketball player.
Was he a good basketball player?
Very good basketball player. He used to play after he was done playing. I played in a couple men's leagues with him. I just said, hey, protect me.
Kick is up, and it's good. 28-0 in favor of North. 10:55 to go in the second quarter. Another look at the play. Gamble, the lefty.
Effortless.
Just a quick throw and a catch, and Elliott then does the rest. Hassan Elliott against Jordan caught 3 balls for 39 yards, caught 3 balls for 69 yards against Grand Terrace. Over the spring, had 3 touchdowns rushing, 1 touchdown receiving. Had 600 yards back in 2019 as a running back mostly.
I'll tell you what, and North is going to play another upcoming game. They have their rematch with Rancho Verde. Rancho Verde got them last year. Talked to a couple players earlier today. They say, hey, you're going to cover our Rancho Verde game. We won them. So that's the next big one that they are circling on their calendars.
Rancho Verde was so good last year, Jeff.
So fast, so quick.
I mean, it was a shame. It was a shortened season. They were 5-0. Here's Lara's kickoff. Mercado fields it on a hop at the 25, and that's where he'll go down. Rancho Verde outscored their spring opponents, Jeff, 193-21. They were 5-0 over the spring. Vista Murrieta, the other loss for North over the spring, they were 5-0 as well, outscored their opponents 203-95. So the 2 losses North suffered were to 2 pretty good teams. And, yeah, that'll be the measuring stick. So Rancho Verde is the finale. We'll have that game on Riverside TV. That'll be the finale for the Huskies, and we'll see how much progress they've made, see if they can get after the Mustangs. Right now it's Notre Dame football from the 26, trying to muster some resistance that's been all North thus far. Waleski looking down the field, throwing it. He's got a man. It's complete to midfield. That's Mercado with a nice move. Little swim move inside, down just outside the 35-yard line. So Mercado, a big-time player, making a big-time play. 38-yard strike by Waleski down the field to Mercado, who's slow to get up. And talking with Carnell Hunt, Andrew Waleski, he said, I got the job. He got the job May 21st, another look at it. Waleski, you can see just going through his progressions and finds Mercado down the field. A nice move there.
Mercado took a shot to his, probably to his thigh, it looks like maybe.
On the way down, that can't be pleasant. But Coach Hunt was telling me, got the job so late, so I'm watching. So he got the job on a Friday. It wasn't supposed to be announced till Monday, but somehow it leaked out. Somebody congratulated him on Instagram. But he said, I was watching film all weekend. And he said, the natural thing as a coach is you want to see, I can make this guy better. He said, I watched Andrew Waleski, and I said, wow, we got something,
And just by that last play, rolled out, threw on the jump, which is very, very tough to do.
And he said the most impressive thing about Andrew is that he's not afraid to lead. He's a vocal leader, and, he's the guy who will show up early to throw. And then when he was showing up early to throw, now all the receivers wanted to show up early to catch. And he comes early and he stays late. And he's great in the classroom, and he's just a great leader. And he's only a junior, and he's already got offers coming in, already got some Pac-12 offers coming in. So he's going to get some looks.
But I'll tell you what a great guy to learn from if you're a underclassman. We've seen, I think the quarterback play this year in Riverside is the best we've seen in a long time. I mean, the kid at Ramona a very good pocket passer, great poise in the backfield, and the two guys here tonight have been special so far.
Mercado leaves on his own power. You always like to see that. He gets a nice hand from the North fans. 28-0, J-Dub. 10:41 to play in the second quarter. And if you're Notre Dame, you just want to get on the board now. I mean, you can't do anything about what's already happened, but hey, let's get on the board. Let's get some momentum. Let's get some confidence. Try to score on this team. And this defense is very tough. So it's a test for this Notre Dame team. Hey, let's get this offense going. We're playing a good defense. Okay, all the better. Noah Gonzalez to split out to the top of the screen. Leon shifts in the backfield. Low snap. Give to Leon. He's immediately met by the interior of that line for Notre Dame. Coming down the smokestack, the junior Johnny Tupou, the inside backer, pushes it back a couple of yards. Those guys, the defensive line for North, it's not a surprise they're playing well, Jeff, because those backers, they're just coming straight downhill.
That's true. I mean, it's impressive to see this defense, like you say, not giving up points here on defense, that's for sure.
Waleski to throw. Dumps it off to Leon, and he's immediately met and dropped behind the line of scrimmage. Stepping up, making the play, our old friend Elijah Hughes. So Notre Dame moving backwards, trying to kind of use the speed of the North defense against them, but North so disciplined. Opi Vaipulu again runs the defense for the Huskies. He's also the head coach. And Kevin Kiker back running the offense for North. Our friend Dennis Brown runs the special teams.
Our guy, Coach Walter, out there.
He's the O-line coach.
O-line coach, Matt Walter.
Good guy. I like Matt.
Great guy.
I'm not just saying that because he gets all my pop culture references. Waleski being chased. He'll throw complete to Leon, and he gets lit up. Oh, my. Lisitoa Toki says hello.
And a flag on that play. I'm not too sure as we look here in the replay.
I just think when the helmet popped off, the official just reached for the flag.
Oh,
I don't think it was a dirty hit in any way, shape, or form.
But it was helmet to helmet, and you're going to get that call every time.
That was that old scene from Godfather 2 with Danny Aiello when he says, Michael Corleone says hello. I went to high school with Danny's daughter, so I always appreciate. Yeah,
Did you ever meet him?
My brother met him because my brother worked at the gas station in town, and he would always come and he would have my brother change his tire. But I'd see him in the grocery store, like when he wasn't working, he'd be in the grocery store every once in a while. The late Danny, he's passed away recently.
Yeah.
I just watched the old movie Bang the Drum Slowly with Michael Moriarty and Robert De Niro, and Danny's in there. He plays one of the Yankees. I guess they're called the Mammoths in that movie, but they're, you can tell the uniform is a Yankees uniform. That's before everything was about branding and licensing. It's really weird. And the movie came out in like 73. So the penalty will be marched off against North, and it'll be close to a first down.
And they're going to move it. It will be a first down, Gazal.
So first down on the penalty. And Notre Dame now deep in North territory. The ball goes all the way to the 28-yard line, and a first down and a reprieve for Notre Dame. So Aiden Taylor in the backfield, and Coach Hunt had a lot of nice things to say about him. Mercado to the top of your screen. To the bottom of your screen is Gabriel Cadavona in the near slot, John Fierro. 1st and 10 for Notre Dame from the 28. Waleski, here comes the pressure. Complete to Fierro at the 25-yard line. Down he goes. Hit on the play. Lets Leo Tupou.
I like Waleski, though. I mean, he's running for his dear life, but, I mean, he's got the patience to get that ball off. Look at Mount Rubidoux there in the background, looking wonderful. You and I need to go on a hike. Have you ever hiked Mount Rubidoux?
I've not. I want to do that, though.
But you and I
we'll have Jim Alexander come, too. He loves Mount Rubidoux.
And Jim Alexander, he's a great notable alumnus of Notre Dame.
Longtime columnist at the Riverside Press Enterprise. Friend of the show.
I talked to him this week.
3 receivers split out to the near side. Empty set for Notre Dame. Let's see what happens here. Here comes the pressure. Waleski's got to get rid of it. Now he'll just tuck it under. Waleski to the 20, dives forward. Inside the 20, gets the first down. Has Leo Tupou land on top of him, which can never be pleasant, but he gets a fresh set.
Tough kid. Great run, though. Smart enough to get.
See, and that's what Coach Hunt is talking about. I mean, that's a leader. I mean, you're getting run a little bit here. It's 28-0, but Waleski, he's like, hey, we still got 2 quarters plus to play. You're going to jump on my back and follow me. And when you make plays like that, you really have no choice if you're the rest of the team, other players. So call it 2nd and 6. Quick throw, complete, and wow. Kevin Miller's going to remember that in the morning, and then here comes the flag. I believe they're going to wave the flag off. It'll just be incomplete.
Wow.
Now they're caucusing, so the white hat is caucusing. So it's been ruled incomplete. Let's see if the penalty stands. Targeting. That's the call. And so it'll move it half the distance to the goal. Now, the home crowd doesn't like it, and it's easy for us, Jeff, to stay up here and criticize, but we're not on the field watching it at full speed.
Yeah, exactly.
And maybe on the monitor it looks like, well, but when you're watching it at full speed, it's very different.
Exactly. And anytime you're going to have hit helmets that violently, you just have to call it.
And especially with everything going on now, Jeff, safety has just become a premium. 28-0, North leads Notre Dame. We're in the second quarter here. Thanks for joining us on Riverside TV. I feel like we're shortchanging just one game this week. I feel like we're shortchanging everybody, Jeff.
I know. What am I going to do with the rest of my weekend?
Well, you can watch LSU UCLA tomorrow. Hang with the kids. That's true. Scott, our producer, just said, well, we are doing 3 games next week.
See, now that makes me feel better.
Thursday, Ram High. I won't be here. You'll be here alone for that one. Then Friday and Saturday we get to hang out.
Ooh.
Because Friday we get to see our old friend Sebastian Hernandez at La Sierra. They're playing Santa Rosa Academy, which I know is across the street from your house.
Yeah, so I can't wait to see that.
And then we got the granddaddy on Saturday.
What's the granddaddy?
King Polly, man.
Oh, that is a good one.
McMain's Rice. I got to come up with something good for McMain's.
We're going to have them on the coach's perspective this week. I'd love to get them on together.
The Shakespearean scholar, Coach John Rice, who is the head coach here at North. So the ball moves inside the 10. It'll be 1st and goal for Notre Dame after the targeting penalty. So movement up front for North. Leon in the backfield. Split out to the near side, Catanova. Near slot is Mercado's flexed out on the near side, Fierro for Notre Dame. So 2 personal fouls have extended the drive for the Titans. Let's see if they can capitalize. Fierro in motion. Now they're 2-by-2. Waleski out of the backfield to Leon. Leon makes a nice move inside down to the 5, puts his shoulder down, and he's down inside the 5-yard line. Johnny Tupou making the tackle for North, getting help from Terrence Brown. So we were talking about Saturday next week. We'll see Dennis Brown there. His son Bailey plays for John Rice and Poly.
And John Rice's son plays for Poly, too.
That's now I'm confused, Jeff.
Coach's kids all over Riverside are playing. You got Mush's son as the starting quarterback at Ramona.
Mm-hmm.
You got Dennis Brown's son is over at Poly. You got John Rice's son is at Poly. There's got to be other coaches out there with kids playing.
Mercado split out to the near side. Trips to the top of your screen. Miller split out. 2nd and goal, ball's at the 4-yard line. Waleski. Got to get rid of it into the corner. Incomplete. 3rd down. Oh, flag on the play as well.
Oh, the ball hit Trevor, our cameraman. Did you notice that?
Oh, I'm sorry. I feel bad.
Drilled him. Trevor's first game we've had him this year. He shows up in the sidelines, gets drilled.
Taking one for the team.
Have to buy him a soda pop. You know, you got that eye thing, and, you know, you're looking through it, and bam, getting hit with a football.
Opie Vaipulu, the head coach for North, wanting to get an explanation with the flag. Player down is Nate Hendricks for Notre Dame. They're already kind of nursing some injuries on the line, and then they've been hurt with some COVID protocol stuff, some players unavailable. Another personal foul called on North, so it'll be another 1st down, half the distance to the goal. They're without C.J. Broy today. They're also without senior Emiliano LaCuesta, their senior wide receiver and cornerback. He's in street clothes as well. We mentioned Stephen Thomas earlier. They're still waiting also for Fabian Benvenetto. So, you know, Coach Hunt, he was very kind of zen about it. He said, hey, we'll eventually be healthy, and we just got to play, you know, we got to play the game in front of us week to week. But he expects once the Titans hit league, they'll be in a lot better shape from a personnel standpoint.
I'll tell you what, they can get a nice little victory here by scoring on the Huskies.
1st and goal from the 2, and now a timeout called. So I believe North took that one. So Opie Vaipulu and Dennis Brown will talk it over. Dennis Brown was head coach at Riverside Poly 2013 and 2014. That 2014 team went to a CIF final, lost a thriller against Redlands East Valley when Kirk Bruick was over there. And then Coach Brown left to become the athletic director at King, and Opie Vaipulu took over the job for a year at Poly. But he couldn't get a teaching job, so he had to go to Tockwitz, where they got him a full-time teaching position. And he went and coached down there for a couple of years. And then Dennis Brown, when he took over at Nord, said, Opie, we're getting the band back together. Come coach my defensive line. Now, I figured it out. I didn't figure it out. I finally got an explanation. They are family. So Opie Vaipulu's uncle, Steve, is married to Dennis Brown's sister, and that's the connection, the family connection. So he is Dennis Brown's sister's nephew, meaning Opie Vaipulu. That's the family connection there.
See, I remember him saying that to us, but that was very complicated for me. He lost me at my sister's brother. But
well, we still haven't played 6 Degrees of Jeff Gorham.
We have
on how you know everybody. Now, you know the Browns for a long time. We'll get into that.
Forever.
1st and goal from the 2.
We played Catholic Little League baseball together.
The throw over the middle nearly picked off. In and out of the hands of the intended receiver, Eric Rowe, as a defensive lineman going out there and playing a little tight end. 2nd down coming up.
Yeah, on number 33. Is that who it was?
Eric Rowe.
Yeah, Eric Rowe.
So 3 penalties have helped extend this drive. Kevin Miller splits out wide to the top of your screen. Next to him, John Fierro. In the near slot, that's Mercado. Waleski looking left, throwing into the corner. Intended for Mercado. A flag comes in. Victor Avila get called on the face guard there. I don't think he did anything on purpose. It was just they ran a crossing route, and he was in the wrong place the wrong time.
Let's see here on the replay.
I got there a little early. You get there a little early. Like that line from John Amos in Die Hard 2 to Bruce Willis. You're the wrong guy in the wrong place at the wrong time. The great John Amos. Football player.
Yeah, also on one of the greatest TV shows of all time.
And movies coming to America.
Oh, yeah, but man, I'll tell you what.
Good times, yeah.
Good
James.
times.
So first and goal yet again for Notre Dame. Aiden Taylor, the tailback. And they stop him in the middle of the line. It's tough to run against big number 99. Let me just tell you that. Christian Wilson is like Keith Jackson used to say about Ross Browner. 6'5", 240 pounds of raw meanness. And he's just barreling down the smokestack. And Aiden Taylor, all about $170, trying to squeeze past him. And to make matters worse, if you get past Wilson, you got to deal with the law firm of Toki, Tupou, and Tupou, which is never pleasant.
No, they convict quite a bit of guys.
Clock moving under 5 minutes to play in the first half. Notre Dame, they deferred. They'll get the ball to start the second half. They'd love to cap off this drive with a touchdown. Here comes the blitz. Waleski gets rid of it. Good blitz read. It is complete. Mercado still on his feet, but man, talk about tough sledding. Sandwiched between Avila and Johnny Tupou at the end of that run, third down coming up. I mean, he was pinballing and absorbing a bunch of hits.
What a tough kid, though. Man.
Well, they say Weebles wobble, but they don't fall down.
They do not fall down.
If you're under 40, you can go look on YouTube for that one. But
that's the second time today I've heard a Weeble reference. I was watching an Old Friends episode today. They were mentioning Weebles wobbles, but they don't fall down.
Third down. Third and goal for Notre Dame. Cadence got the best of him. They'll move a little bit closer. Andrew Waleski against Hillcrest last week, 16 of 31, threw a touchdown, 115 yards, and 2 interceptions. Hillcrest pretty good on defense. They probably stepped it up after that first loss to Poly. You know, Coach Carter had him going.
Yes.
Defensive coordinator Ahmad Noor, too, probably went back to the drawing board. They did a good job against Notre Dame. North doing a good job here, just picking up where they left off. But here, the Titans close to pay dirt. Waleski rolling. Throwing. Tipped. Incomplete. Under pressure, bearing down. And he just got rid of it, and now fourth down coming up.
Well, they've had enough chances at it. They've had about 12 chances with all the penalties that have happened. 3
personal fouls have kept this drive alive.
And if you're Coach Vaiapulu, you cannot be happy with that.
Well, you know, we always talk about how the coaches, you know, good coaches know their teams.
Of course.
And, you know, we just kind of observe from the outside, but both Dennis Brown and Coach Vaiapulu told us, you know, we got to, there are mistakes we need to clean up, and we're kind of seeing it. Kevin Miller to the top of the screen. In the far slot, Fierro. Mercado to the bottom of your screen. High snap over Waleski's head, and he's just got a fall on it. And the ball goes over on downs to the Huskies.
Another great
Sealing
stop.
the deal is Harrison Abakrali.
So North continuing this dominance on defense, not allowing Notre Dame, like I said, after about 12 plays, within the 5, just couldn't score.
I mean, talking about mistakes, there's a big mistake at a key time for Notre Dame. The snap went over Waleski's head, and ball goes over to the Huskies. 3:16 to play in the first half, and that really is deflating for the Titans, because if you can get a touchdown and then a stop, you get the ball to start the second half. But, they can still do it here. Remember, we saw that. We can still get points out of it here if the defense can step up. From the 16-yard line, here's the toss, the reverse. This is the second quarterback for John W. North. Cameron Shannon. Look at Shannon down the field. I thought they were setting up a double pass. He's to midfield, still on his feet. 30, 25. He is to the house. 84 yards for the sophomore Cameron Shannon. Another touchdown for the Huskies.
Run of the year right there, my friend, but there is a penalty on the play at the 30.
Oh, this crowd is going to just erupt if that's against the Huskies. How about that?
But, wow, I thought he was going to toss. First I thought he was going to throw the ball. Then I thought he was going to lateral it.
Well, I mean, when you get two quarterbacks in there, usually it's some kind of trick play. And it is coming back. You're right, Jeff.
But what a great run. The run of the year we've seen so far.
Gamble, the senior, definitely has the job, but Shannon, a sophomore, backup quarterback, threw a pass against Jordan last week, or against Grand Terrace last week against Jordan, ran the ball twice, had a 58-yard completion to Hassan Elliott. So the ball to the 40-yard line. They do flip the field on the run. 1st and 10 from the 40 of Notre Dame. Trips to the top of your screen. Asher Granger split out to the bottom of your screen. Mikaele right up the middle. Running right between the tackles. Hurdling to the 20, back outside the numbers. To the 10, into the end zone. They said they stopped him at the 1. So no touchdown. 39-yard run for Mikaele. I'll call it the 38-yard run. Line judge standing just inside the 3, about the 2.
Look at the replay. Mikaele looking for guys.
I mean, just nothing special. Just running off tackle, finding the hole, and then looking for contact.
But does stop on a dime and changes movement so well.
So the 37-yard run officially. 1st and goal North from the 3. Mikaele to pay dirt. Touchdown, Huskies.
Sauntered in again. Kind of walked in that time, though. It wasn't much
sidled. He kind of sidled.
Sidled in.
Yeah. Yeah, he cranked that Soldier Boy on that one.
I'm excited. Got the Blue Star Regiment coming up.
That is the award-winning John W. North. Pep. They call them pep bands out here?
They better.
I mean, our friend Pep, obviously.
Yes.
We're a little biased. After all our action, you can check out all the high school action tonight as Jose Lara booms it through the uprights to make it 35-0. Pep Fernandez on IEMG. You can access that on YouTube as well.
He does that show live at like 11 o'clock, 11:30. I used to do it with him, but then it was just too tiring. These kids are older now.
He's so dedicated. Loves the games. He always gives us a shout-out, Jeff. Whenever we give him highlights, I guess I should say.
He better.
Everyone keep those lights up!
So J-Dub really putting it on Notre Dame right now. 35-0 with 2:18 to play here in the first half. Ghazal Hassan, Jeff Gorham with you. Thanks for joining us.
like the cell phone lights. That's a cool feature.
It is, like, for all the negativity about cell phone, that's a cool little thing.
I like that. I'll be honest with you. I don't like cell phones very much, and that's my favorite part about a cell phone right there.
Here's Mercado returning. Kind of lost his footing about the 17, and he's tackled right about there. So that's where Notre Dame will start it off. It just seems Notre Dame is maybe a step off. And when I talked to Coach Hunt, he was really saying, with a young group like this, we're playing a lot of sophomores and juniors. Losing that first game hurt us a lot. It hurt us more than it might hurt some other teams because my guys need to play, basically, is what he was saying. And remember, Notre Dame, because of their numbers, in the shortened spring season, they only played 3 games.
That's right. They had a hard time getting games. And
well, I mean, they were barely able to field the team. They wanted to make sure they could field the team, and they scheduled 3 games so they could give them a break in between those games. That was
a very tough preseason schedule here too.
Yeah, I mean, doesn't get any easier. They go to Summit, and they play Los Altos as well. It's going to be tough. From the 18, it's a 1st and 10. Here's the give right up the middle. Jacob Leon doing his Venancio Michaele impression. Check that instead. That's Aiden Taylor. Taylor gets up to the 30-yard line, moving up the sticks. Taylor, just a sophomore, had 49 yards last week against Hillcrest. And Coach Hunt said, special kid, he's strong, good runner, but they needed to play some defense as well. Another run, not as successful this time because he runs into the big fella. He runs into Christian Wilson, who got some help from Manny DeCastro on the hit, and we tick down under 2 minutes to play in the first half. When you got the size that North has on the defensive line and you couple in the coaching of Opie Vaipulu, who's a great defensive line coach, you're really going to get maximum benefit out of that.
And just the quickness, of that secondary is phenomenal.
Linebackers in the secondary are big time. 2nd and 10, no gain on the first play. Waleski gets it out quick, trying to get it to Mercado, and it's incomplete. 3rd and 10 coming up. I mean, when you can move, we saw how good Harrison Abakrali has been. When you can slide him out and slide in Kevin Lara, who's 6'2", 270, you have that versatility. No relation to Jose Lara. We asked about that before the game. 3rd and 10 for the Titans. I think they had a tough time moving the football. They had the one big play in the last drive with Mercado that got them into North territory. That was just the playmaker making a play. Leon, the tailback. And the play fake doesn't work. A cadre of North defenders all over Andrew Waleski. Wilson got there, but Manny DeCastro was the main instigator. DeCastro had the contain on the play and contained and then some, and it's going to be a punt situation coming up for Notre Dame.
Or it's going to get the ball back again, but they've been pretty darn good special teams-wise tonight.
It's a process, and I know, no coach wants to say that, but Carnell Hunt, he's coached under just some legends. Forget, they're good coaches. Jerry Jaso is a legend. Raul Lara won 5 CIF titles in 13 years. Zeta to kick it away. Here's Elliott from the 47. Angling to the outside, down the sideline, still on his feet, tight roping it, and the ball's loose. 18 seconds to play. Mercado making the tackle on the sideline. The ball popped out, recovered by North. They'll keep it. And Mercado down again. Hopefully he's okay. 18 seconds, so North will get a couple of shots at the end zone here. We were talking before the game with Dennis Brown about this. So great that we can get 2 Riverside teams to play in the non-leagues.
But it's been that way this year. It's been great.
Yeah.
I think the best thing about COVID is we're seeing Riverside teams play Riverside teams.
Well, when you talked to Coach Mush a couple weeks ago on the coach's perspective, that's something he's trying to do. He wants all Ramona's non-league games to be against, and he wants to go play Poly. He wants to go play King. He wants to go play North.
Well, I'm trying this. I've kind of reached out to some of these local Riverside coaches. I already know I have Ken Batdorf on board. I know I have Dennis Brown on board. And I know I have Mush on board. I would love to have in the next couple of years, once these 2-year contracts run out, because in high school they run 2-year contracts, I would love to get a preseason seeding tournament type for a city championship. So I think it would be something we could do. It would be great to have a true champion.
Kind of like in basketball, they do like the Big Ten ACC Challenge, when
Exactly.
kind of like the 2 top teams match up and the kind of the bottom teams match up.
Yes.
And you do it that way.
Or you can seed, and I've looked into it. You can do this. You can have open games on your schedule with the teams that you would.
Right,
so
because
can
you know
reseed.
somebody's going to win and somebody's going to lose.
Yeah, so you can reseed if you
Right.
need and so forth. But I do have Ken Batdorf in line because he owes me, and he said he would do it. I know I could get Mush. We just got to work on our guy, Coach Rice, over at Poly.
And it helps. It contains costs.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
That's one of my things. You just bus right down the street. And more people will come to the games. And we can have a true city champion.
That's what we're talking about with Coach Brown. Now that Poly and North, they're in the same conference, not the same league, so there's no guarantee they play every year. Mercado, again, walking off under his own power the second time he's gone down. So I would guess he's not going to be on the field at least till the second half. But what a player. I mean, just what an effort he has given. 1st and 10 from the 18 for J-Dub. They lead this one 35-0. We're in the second quarter here from the Doghouse. Amir Ridgely in at tailback for John W. North. Here's the give to Ridgely right up the middle. Nothing special. Nice move to the house. Touchdown, Amir Ridgely. Wake him up before you go, Jeff.
The great Andrew. I love it.
6 points for Ridgely.
Anytime you can get a Wham reference in, made me happy.
I just remember how big they were. Just big.
Huge.
They were so big. They're always on the radio. And Andrew Ridgely was kind of the unknown Wham.
He was my favorite.
So the girls always they would wear those baggy Choose Life shirts. Remember that?
Yeah, that's right.
That phenomenon.
I used to wear the Dolphin shorts and the Choose Life shirts.
Lara again booms it through, and you're right about soccer players. Every school just recruit a soccer player to do their kicking for them.
It'd be great. And kickers are my favorites.
Yeah, you love kickers. You got a visitor, Jeff.
Hey! Got the great Desmond Granger is here in the house.
Oh, nice. Okay.
The Hall of Famer here at North High School, his son, Asher Granger. We saw had a nice touchdown in the first half. I was just told he's been offered 5 D1 schools have offered him scholarships. But I'll tell you what, man, this is a phenomenal North team as they go up 42-0 here.
North, they got some guys playing. So USC is playing San Jose State tomorrow.
That's right.
And, Kavan Baptiste is on the roster at San Jose State. How about Taryn Shive? Both his parents are teachers at North. He's, in essence, a walk-on at San Jose State, and he's starting.
That's awesome.
He's going to run out of that tunnel at the Coliseum tomorrow. How cool is that?
That is incredible. And Arizona State has a North
Austin Berry.
Austin Berry.
But we knew, he was a 4-year starter.
Yeah.
You knew he was going to do it.
A stud.
But I just, you love kickers, and I love the underdog stories. Taryn Shive, what a great story that is. Leon's going to let it go into the end zone. It'll come out to the 20 with 12 seconds left here in the first half.
So does this mean we will have a running clock in the second half?
Not our decision. Those are the officials are the law. That's not our decision.
Oh, that's right.
Jeff.
And the coaches have to decide before the game. So we could be out of here by like 9 o'clock. We could be watching some TV and drinking Kool-Aid, eating peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
I'm going to brine the wings for tomorrow's UCLA LSU matchup.
Are you going to have wings by yourself?
I'm going to brine the wings,
Yeah.
and then it's a three-way process. You grill them, you roast them, and you air fry them, and they're wonderful.
Air fry? What are you?
Yeah.
What's wrong with you?
When you get north of 40, your friends won't come over if you have junk food.
No, I'm not air fry. I'm throwing everything in a vat of oil.
It's going to be wings and sushi, Jeff. Very, very West LA.
That's very West.
Waleski kneels down, and that'll be the end of the second quarter. And this is all North in the first half. The fans in the doghouse got to be happy, Jeff Gorham.
I'll tell you what, you got to be happy. The only thing you can't be happy about is those personal foul penalties and the mistakes that North caused themselves. Notre Dame, young team, new coach, kind of get their
listen. They're shorthanded. They're missing a couple starters, but still, they knew this was going to be a process.
Of course,
and they knew. Hey, and no disrespect to anybody, they knew North is a better team. They're trying to get some things done. I've been impressed with Andrew Waleski.
He's a very, very good quarterback. In the pocket, he's running for his life. But I'll tell you, he looks poised and is making very good decisions.
Julian Mercado has played tough. He's taken some knocks, but he's played well for the Titans as well.
So yeah, it's going to be a second half of let's see if Notre Dame can come out and get small victories. They're not going to win this ball game, but maybe get some small victories to go and get better for next week.
Huskies in charge right now. We'll come back. We have 24 minutes of football left. We'll step out right now, and Jeff and I will come back and reset the second half for you after these words.
My name is Melissa Olmos, and I'm a driver operator in the Department of Refuse for the City of Riverside, and I've been doing this for 4 months already. I really enjoy it because this job is not like a routine, so every day is different. So I'm assigned to do the bookings. The residents call to the city to be serviced, and these items is large furniture, mattress, and appliance. The residents, they have 2 times a year, and these items, I put it in the back of the packer, and the packer crashes and compact these items so I can take it to the dump. My favorite part of the job is driving the truck. Since I was younger, my dream was to be a driver. And now that the City of Riverside gave me this opportunity, I really enjoy it. I'm really proud of what I do because when I go to the residents' houses, I see the faces, they're happy because we're picking up the items they don't want anymore. So I try to get in here because this is a better job for me with a better stability. And I wanted to because I want to set a good example for my 2 daughters that I have. One of my hobbies that I have is go hiking. I like the outside activities like camping, and I also enjoy riding motorcycles. If I have to describe my job in one word, it will be perfect.
Engine 1 AMR, respond with RPD for a traffic accident with injuries. In 1234 Main, cross of Columbia, 2 vehicles involved.
Each year, the Riverside City Fire Department responds to 40,000 emergency calls.
431.
And the men and women of the Riverside Police Department drive Code 3 every day.
We need your help so you know what to do when you see emergency vehicles.
Pull to the right.
Pull to the right.
Pull to the right. So help us help you.
We need you to pull to the right. We are proud of the Riverside Police Department's tradition of integrity, service, and excellence. RPD officers are disciplined, well-trained professionals who always lean forward to make our community safer and more livable. We are always looking for mature, educated men and women who want to apply their courage and judgment to serve the people of Riverside. If that's who you are, we want to talk to you.
our very first building of a Little Free Pantry. We are building a Little Free Pantry in our community. It will be one of the 26 throughout Riverside that will help fill the gaps of food scarcity here in Riverside. Data is telling us now that 1 in 6 families are hungry. It's about 44% of adults and about 50% of children that are hungry here within our own neighborhood, in our own backyard.
Because of the pandemic, there's a lot of hunger out there. There's a lot of families in need, and we hope that this will act as a bridge until families are able to get the food that they need. I think that there are always those times where we are living paycheck to paycheck and we need just a few cans of something to get us by. So these little pantries will serve in that capacity, and we're really excited to see something that will help families in need.
And this has been a wonderful collaboration with the Riverside Mutual Aid Network, IEHP, here at Sandals Church, and the City of Riverside. So this has been a fantastic opportunity for community members to step up and to fill a real void in our city, which is food insecurity. So the idea is that if one of these free little pantries in your neighborhood, you could stock it as frequently or as infrequently as you want to. And the idea behind it is that when people have extra food, it doesn't go to waste.
These pantries are just kind of the first step, right, for reintroducing neighbors back to each other, getting folks involved in taking care of each other again, and just strengthening those community bonds that Riverside is so known for. Because things like food drives and food distributions, they're really good, but they only help folks in that moment of need. And we wanted to create something that would continue giving back 5, 10, 15 years from now, and really allow the community to get back into taking care of each other instead of maybe relying on, just government or nonprofit structures to kind of take care of them.
If others want to follow suit, they can apply at riversideca.gov/cares is an application, or they can email us at neighbor@riversideca.gov to receive an application to host a Little Free Pantry in their neighborhood.
My name is Melissa Olmos, and I'm a driver operator in the Department of Refuse for the City of Riverside, and I've been doing this for 4 months already. I really enjoy it because this job is not like a routine, so every day is different. So I'm assigned to do the bookings. The residents call to the city to be serviced, and these items is large furniture, mattress, and appliance. The residents, they have 2 times a year, and these items, I put it in the back of the packer, and the packer crashes and compact these items so I can take it to the dump. My favorite part of the job is driving the truck. Since I was younger, my dream was to be a driver. And now that the City of Riverside gave me this opportunity, I really enjoy it. I'm really proud of what I do because when I go to the residents' houses, I see the faces, they're happy because we're picking up the items they don't want anymore. So I try to get in here because this is a better job for me with a better stability. And I wanted to because I want to set a good example for my 2 daughters that I have. One of my hobbies that I have is go hiking. I like the outside activities like camping, and I also enjoy riding motorcycles. If I have to describe my job in one word, it will be it's perfect.
Engine 1 AMR, respond with RPD, road traffic accident with injuries. In 1234 Main, cross of Columbia, 2 vehicles involved.
Each year, the Riverside City Fire Department responds to 40,000 emergency calls.
431. And the men and women of the Riverside Police Department drive Code 3 every day.
We need your help, so you know what to do when you see emergency vehicles.
Pull to the right.
Pull to the right.
Pull to the right. So help us help you.
We need you to pull to the right. We are proud of the Riverside Police Department's tradition of integrity, service, and excellence. RPD officers are disciplined, well-trained professionals who always lean forward to make our community safer and more livable. We are always looking for mature, educated men and women who want to apply their courage and judgment to serve the people of Riverside. If that's who you are, we want to talk to you.
Today is our very first building of a little free pantry. We are building a little free pantry in our community. It will be one of the 26 throughout Riverside that will help fill the gaps of food scarcity here in Riverside. Data is telling us now that 1 in 6 families are hungry. It's about 44% of adults and about 50% of children that are hungry here within our own neighborhood, in our own backyard.
Because of the pandemic, there's a lot of hunger out there. There's a lot of families in need, and we hope that this will act as a bridge until families are able to get the food that they need. I think that there are always those times where we are living paycheck to paycheck and we need just a few cans of something to get us by. So these little pantries will serve in that capacity, and we're really excited to see something that will help families in need.
And this has been a wonderful collaboration with the Riverside Mutual Aid Network, IEHP, here at Sandals Church, and the City of Riverside. So this has been a fantastic opportunity for community members to step up and to fill a real void in our city, which is food insecurity. So the idea is that if one of these free little pantries in your neighborhood, you could stock it as frequently or as infrequently as you want to. And the idea behind it is that when people have extra food, it doesn't go to waste.
These pantries are just kind of the first step, right, for reintroducing neighbors back to each other, getting folks involved in taking care of each other again, and just strengthening those community bonds that Riverside is so known for. Because things like food drives and food distributions, they're really good, but they only help folks in that moment of need. And we wanted to create something that would continue giving back 5, 10, 15 years from now, and really allow the community to get back into taking care of each other instead of maybe relying on, just government or nonprofit structures to kind of take care of them.
If others want to follow suit, they can apply at riversideca.gov/cares as an application, or they can email us at neighbor@riversideca.gov to receive an application to host a little free pantry in their neighborhood.
My name is Melissa Olmos, and I'm a driver operator in the Department of Refuse for the City of Riverside, and I've been doing this for 4 months already. I really enjoy it because this job is not like a routine, so every day is different. So I'm assigned to do the bookings. The residents call to the city to be serviced, and these items is large furniture, mattress, and appliance. The residents, they have 2 times a year, and these items I put it in the back of the packer, and the packer crashes and compact these items so I can take it to the dump. My favorite part of the job is driving the truck. Since I was younger, my dream was to be a driver, and now that the city of Riverside gave me this opportunity, I really enjoy it. I'm really proud of what I do, because when I go to the residents' houses, I see the faces, they're happy because we're picking up the items they don't want anymore. So I try to get in here because this is a better job for me with a better stability. And I wanted to because I want to set a good example for my 2 daughters that I have. One of my hobbies that I have is go hiking. I like the outside activities like camping, and I also enjoy riding motorcycles. If I have to describe my job in one word, it will be it's perfect.
Engine 1 AMR, respond with RPD for a traffic accident with injuries. In 1234 Main, cross of Columbia, 2 vehicles involved.
Each year, the Riverside City Fire Department responds to 40,000 emergency calls.
431. And the men and women of the Riverside Police Department drive Code 3 every day.
We need your help, so you know what to do when you see emergency vehicles.
Pull to the right.
Pull to the right.
Pull to the right. So help us help you.
We need you to pull to the right. We are proud of the Riverside Police Department's tradition of integrity, service, and excellence. RPD officers are disciplined, well-trained professionals who always lean forward to make our community safer and more livable. We are always looking for mature, educated men and women who want to apply their courage and judgment to serve the people of Riverside. If that's who you are, we want to talk to you.
Today is our very first building of a little free pantry. We are building a little free pantry in our community. It will be one of the 26 throughout Riverside.
Welcome back, the Doghouse, John W. North High School. 42-0 in the first half, all North, Jeff. And J-Dub, they've been so impressive this year, going back to their last 3 games. They lost their first 2 games in the spring. We mentioned they lost to Rancho Verde and Vista Murrieta. Both those teams, incidentally, were undefeated in the spring. They were both 5-0. But they allowed just 6 points in their last 3 games. They allowed just 14 in their first 2 games of this year. In the first half here, they put up a clean sheet, a big 0 on the board for Notre Dame. The Titans will start with the ball, though, in the second half.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, North was really lucky. I mean, Notre Dame had about 12 opportunities there on the goal line. They showed how good they are defensively. They just need to shore up those penalties. If they're going to beat good teams, they cannot have lapses at all.
If you're Carnell Hunt, Jeff, you're coaching, what do you tell the Titans?
You say, hey, we got to get minor victories here. We got to try to score. We have to stop them. Let's play a second half, a clean second half. Try to play mistake-free football and work on your game. Work on your run game. Work on certain aspects of your game that you saw might have been holes in that first half.
Jacob Leon from the 13. Leon up the right side. He's got some room. He dives forward over the 40-yard line. And that's where they'll start. Tackle on the play made by Tyjon Payne for John W. North. And good field position to start for Notre Dame. I agree with you. I think what you got to tell the Titans, Jeff, is you wipe the slate clean.
Exactly.
Hey, you play like it's 0-0. We're just going to finish every play and try to win this second half.
Win the second half and win battles. You know, see if you work on a certain play, you look at your offensive line guys and you work on different aspects that you can actually, work on in the game, make adjustments.
Seeing some different numbers in there for John W. North. So Coach Vaipulu and Coach Brown kind of going to the bench a little bit to give some other guys some opportunities. There's still probably half the starters are probably still in there, but I don't think we'll be seeing Toki, Tupou, and Tupou very much longer. Titans 2-1 last year, elected to only play 3 games. Trips to the near side. At the top of your screen, that's Kevin Miller. From the 42. Here's the give to Taylor on the right side. And so it looks like Waleski started the second half on the bench. John Fierro took that first snap, and a flag comes in after the play. So unsportsmanlike conduct whistled against North. And goes back to that discussion in the first half we're having about the Huskies and the coaching staff talking about mistakes. We need to clean up mistakes. Opie Vaipulu said that to you on Tuesday when you talked to him on the coach's perspective. Dennis Brown said it to us before the game we spoke with him.
Yeah, and honestly, I mean, they're going to play some very tough teams. They're going to be a playoff team. You can't make mistakes like that. That'll cost you games. You've seen it cost teams in the past year.
So Fierro gives. Taylor taken down. Danny Salvador got in there. Now, we apologize, folks. We don't have a lot of the numbers of the JV kids they're putting in, so I can only go by what I have. And I know a couple numbers have also changed, so we'll do the best we can, obviously. We always try to get the last-minute updates, but sometimes by the time we're ready to go and have everything input, the coaches make some late changes. So Waleski out for Notre Dame. That's the big story to start here in the second half. Fierro with the give to Taylor running left, and he's upended right on that big N in the middle of the field. That was Andre Lindsey coming up and filling, the junior defensive back. And Coach Vaipulu said, Lindsey a bit of a surprise. Junior just kind of stepped up into a position that had come open.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, very good player.
5 tackles over the first 2 games, makes the play there and pushes Notre Dame back even further. Third down coming up. To get the first down, they need to get to the to get the North 33. So from the 47, that's a 3rd and 20. 2 by 2. Fierro throwing it to the outside. Intended receiver is Kevin Miller. A little bit low on the throw. He couldn't come up with it. And the clock is running here in the second half. You were correct, Jeff.
Running clock.
So 4th down coming up. So Jonathan Fierro stepping in there, a sophomore. Had a running attempt and 4 receptions against Hillcrest. Also playing a little defense, so a busy young man. And Dominic Ozita, the sophomore, will punt it away. He was pretty impressive. I was watching him practice field goals, and he was booming some 40-yarders through there. Can't pick it up, and finally picks it up, and down he goes, and the ball's loose, picked up by John W. North, and they'll recover the ball on the 20-yard line of Notre Dame. So a turnover here in the third quarter, and North really very much in control. Another short field of them to play. Both these teams, Jeff, have a very storied history in Southern California.
Great history.
And the Inland Empire. Notre Dame has 3 CIF championships. They won in 1970 under Bob Stangl, 1977 under Jim Nagy, and, of course, in 2015 under Derek Johnson. That Notre Dame team, Jeff, that won the 1970 CIF title, that was the first Riverside team to ever win a CIF championship in football.
Really?
Yep.
At the year of my birth.
Good year.
Great year.
1st and 10 from the 23. Gamble to the outside, throwing to Granger. Granger slips but keeps his hand down. Maybe he didn't. They'll say his knee was down inside the 20. So about a 4-yard pickup on the play. Nice to chat with Desmond Granger.
Desmond Granger, a great basketball player here at John W. North. Was part of some really good teams. Graduated in 92. His son Asher, a fine receiver for the Huskies.
Also a basketball player. I did not know that, Jeff.
Got the Granger kids all over the place at this. North's going to be happy for a few more years.
2nd and 6 coming up. Mikaele shifts up. The give to Venasio, reverses direction, and he's thrown for a loss. I don't think we've ever seen that. That's Mario Roca getting in there, along with Augie Arnaz. I read that name, Augie Arnaz. It's spelled differently. It's A-R-N-A-I-Z. I always think of the great Desi Arnaz.
Love Desi Arnaz. I want to go to the Copa. Was it the Copa? What was the name?
Copacabana, right?
Copacabana, yeah.
From the 22, 3rd and 9 for North. Play action. Gamble being chased. Gamble the shovel pass to Mikaele. Mikaele angling to the far side, to the 10, to the 5. Doesn't even need to put his shoulder down into the end zone for the touchdown.
Little underhand pass.
They give him a touchdown or he step out? No, they put the 6 up, so he is in.
Like Flynn.
How about that? Gamble kind of made something out of nothing. Little underhanded scoop pass, shovel pass.
What do they used to call it in basketball? The granny shot.
Rick Barry. Didn't Rick Barry shoot free throws like that? It's not Lara. We do not have a name on number 18 for North, so sorry about that.
He's one of the other soccer players. He said he got 4 of them, didn't he?
Oh, Dennis Brown. That's right. He was telling us there's a couple of guys that were kicking, basically auditioning. That one goes through just as all the previous 6 had gone through for Lara. That goes through as well, and it's 49-0 in favor of the Huskies of John W. North. You know, newer field here. It's only been, 7-8 years for this field.
They used to play UC Riverside in RCC.
Yeah, I remember we started my first year with Riverside TV 2012. They were still playing at RCC. That was Marcus Ball was still here.
That's right.
Now in the National Football League. Played at the Ohio State University.
I saw him. You know, one of my bucket list things is I went to Ohio State Michigan game, and I was sitting next to Dikembe Martin and got to hang out with Ball.
That's right. That was back in the Dennis Cutts days. You guys went and played Michigan at Michigan.
That was fun.
Taylor picks it up for Notre Dame to the 25, still fighting. Taylor swims through 35, and it's the kicker. Jose Lara brings him down at the 38-yard line.
That's 2 tackles.
So Lara had a tackle last week against Jordan. He makes the tackle there, and he didn't just take down some tomato can. Aiden Taylor's going to be a pretty good player for Notre Dame. An aggressive move by the kicker, Lara. You have that bit about your old friend, the pacifist kicker. Jose Lara, he wanted to go hit somebody.
I'm telling you, put him at linebacker.
Didn't there used to be a linebacker who used to kick? There was a linebacker, like for the Packers years ago, used to kick.
Well, remember, Joe Theismann was just a kick returner when he came into the NFL. He had a pretty good career. Bad leg, though.
Thiesman. But changed his name when he was up for the Heisman Trophy at Notre Dame. 1st and 10 from the 38. Notre Dame trailing 49-0. The give to Taylor right up the middle and fighting up to the 40-yard line, a couple of yards on the play. Somebody lost a helmet on the play.
He's losing a number, too. Look at that.
Yeah.
His mom's going to go home and iron that thing on. Did you ever have iron-ons in the 80s or 70s?
I don't remember. I remember. They were. I remember having, like, in Little League, having iron-on jerseys, but we never had to do the ironing. They were already. It was pre-ironed.
Oh, I used to get, like, white T-shirts and iron on all kinds of goofy stuff.
I remember having iron, never for sports, but I remember having iron-ons. Of course, they were big.
They were huge. I think we need to bring back iron-ons.
2nd and 7. And the give to Taylor right into the teeth of the defense.
You know what I found online? This will be great. You'll enjoy this. Shrinky Dinks. And I ordered some Shrinky Dinks, and we made them in the oven. Some Star Wars Shrinky Dinks.
Andrew Mosqueda on the tackle. That's great.
Do you remember
Shrinky Dinks are so great. Yeah, they're very cool.
And you could watch it. We turned on the light in the oven. You see them just.
So what? It was the kids, Johnny and Luke.
Johnny and Luke, yeah.
So who are their favorite Star Wars guys?
Oh, they're all Sith guys.
They're all wow.
Yeah, but see, I named my youngest after Luke Skywalker.
Luke Skywalker, of course.
No, he likes Lord Vader.
3rd and 8 from the 40. The give to Taylor, trying to get the outside. Breaks that first tackle and then comes up very close to a first down. He's finally upended at about the 47-yard line. Needed to get the 48.
Well, you know, my youngest, Luke, he went to the Grove, a nice church here in Riverside, for preschool. And they asked him, he said, "Hey, Luke, what religion are you?" And he said, "I'm a Jedi." So this teacher all year long said he was a Jedi.
At least he opted for righteousness. Clock moving, end of the third quarter coming up. Let's see if Notre Dame can get this first down. This is what you're talking about, Jeff. It's the little victories that you want to get when you're kind of trying to build camaraderie and confidence as a team. 4th and 2. Play action. Fierro with the throw. Complete for the first down to midfield. Making the catch, Gabriel Catavona.
There you go. Got the first down. Check mark for a victory there.
As Herm Edwards used to say, we can build on this, gentlemen. We can build on this. But no, I mean, you're playing a very good defense. And to advance the ball against them on a 4th down situation, that you can check that off.
Check it off. 2 check marks.
This will likely be the last play of the third quarter. 49-0 in favor of North. Thanks for joining us. Ghazal Hassan with you along with Jeff Gorham. Hanging out here at the Doghouse. 3rd in Chicago, 3 in C. Quarter runs out. That's the end of the third quarter. 49-0 for those that just joined us. With the score being 42-0 at halftime, both teams agreed to a running clock for the rest of the game, meaning it'll only stop on the official's discretion. So the Titans putting together a little bit of a drive. They picked up a first down. They're at midfield. And Coach Carnell Hunt, first year there, listed as the interim coach, but I would hope they'd give him a shot. He's definitely got the pedigree for it. Trying to build that program, Jeff.
I'll tell you what, they've had a few coaches in the last few years. Be nice to get somebody in there.
So you can kind of maybe elucidate on this a little better than I can because you work at a high school. Sometimes the instability, it's nobody's fault. It's just there are certain circumstances that happen in the educational system that are sometimes beyond people's control.
There is, and you know, it's hard if you're a walk-on coach and you have staff that's not on campus as well.
Right.
So, I mean, it's Notre Dame is a different animal, so you're allowed to, you bring guys in.
Coach Hunt's a walk-on coach.
Yeah, but see, he has a great staff of guys.
Right. So he's smart. He got a couple of Riverside guys.
Perfect.
Then he bought a couple people in that kind of adhere to his philosophy, and you kind of mix them together. From midfield, Notre Dame, 1st and 10. Jonathan Fierro steps in. Andrew Waleski played the first half. He's been pulled. Taylor right up the middle. Taylor to the 40 makes a little move. The ball knocked out from behind on the ground. North picked it up. Let's see if they rule him down. Well, I think they did rule him down. I think the knee was down before the ball came out. If the play stands, it'll be a first down for Notre Dame.
And the sticks are moving.
Coach Hunt was very complimentary with regard to Aiden Taylor. It's a young kid. A lot of sophomores and juniors you'll notice playing for Notre Dame. We talked about it earlier in the broadcast. You know, when we saw them in the spring, Jeff, they only had 22 players. And I think you were telling me there are people concerned they wouldn't field the program.
Exactly.
Tony DeThomas, who had taken over, he was a coach at the time, said, no, they're going to field in the fall. They have some things they need to work out. And then obviously they did work it out. 1st and 10, line is the 39 of John W. North. Trips to the top of your screen. Fierro to throw, middle of the field, complete to Cavadona. And he's down at the 32-yard line.
And that'll be another roughing the passer. So another penalty.
Personal foul. And the Huskies extended a drive in the second quarter for Notre Dame with a couple of personal fouls. And that's one of the other recurring themes is, you know, just looking at the first two scores, I'm thinking, hey, North's got it clicking. Well, you talked to Opie Vaipulu, then we talked to Dennis Brown. They said, no. Yeah, the scores look good, but there are things we still need to clean up. And you're a coach. I guess you get that.
I definitely get that. I would be quite angry if the personal foul calls, because honestly, you can. I understand the holds and stuff, but the personal foul stuff you can control.
I remember talking to Carnell Hunt, and remember he played at Long Beach Poly, and Mater Dei and Long Beach Poly played 3 straight CIF Division I title games, 97, 98, 99. But he was telling me that, because Coach Jerry Jaso and Coach Bruce Rollinson had grown up together, and they had played. Jaso played at Long Beach, and then Rollinson had played at Mater Dei, and then Rollinson played at USC while Jaso was at UCLA. So they knew each other and they were friendlies. Well, 1st and 10 from the 17. I'll get to my point, Jeff. Fierro being chased. Fierro now just going to tuck it under and slide down at the 13-yard line. So he'll pick up maybe 5 on the play. So what Carnell Hunt told me is, when Long Beach played Mater Dei, they knew they were playing the best. And when Mater Dei played Long Beach, they knew they were playing the best. So Mater Dei, Rollinson always told his kids, hey, this is the fastest team we're going to play, so we need to match their speed. And Jaso would always tell the Long Beach kids, hey, this is the most disciplined team we're ever going to play, so we need to match their discipline. So those are the kinds of lessons you impart. And I'm sure Carnell Hunt's doing a lot of coaching this evening, just trying to keep his kids' heads in this one. 2nd and 7, the give to Taylor. Short gain on the play, 3rd down coming up. Now the other side for North, Jeff, is that, the coaching staff's going to get to evaluate a lot of kids now in the second half who maybe don't get a chance to play. So this is your opportunity, if you're one of those players, this is your opportunity to kind of get some film and show your coaches maybe you deserve more playing time.
You got to play hard.
Yep.
At all times.
Miller splits out to the near side. To the top of your screen is Noah Gonzalez for Notre Dame. Also get a look at the freshman DJ Williams. Fierro got a run. Being chased. He's going to throw. Intended for Taylor. Over his head. Incomplete. 4th down. Isao Bonilla bringing the pressure for JW North. Timeout on the field. We talked about Notre Dame CIF titles. How about John W. North in 1995 and 2001 under Mark Paredes? And they won 3 under Lou Randall, 2003, and then back-to-back in 06 and 07.
Lou Randall. I remember both those guys, Coach Paredes and Coach Randall.
Coach Paredes left North to go to Damien, then came back to North.
That's
right before, when Dennis Brown and Opie Vaipulu for first year, and then in fact, Opie Vaipulu, I believe, for a year. 2012, he was on Coach Paredes' staff.
That's right.
And then, Lou Randall. Those were the back-to-back in 06, 07. They went undefeated one of those years. They went undefeated in 2003. And then he left right after he won the CIF. What is it with North coaches leaving right after they win the CIF?
You got to stick with it. You got to keep winning. Maybe Coach Vaipulu can start a trend.
I think Coach Paredes left, and then Steve Haggerty took over for a year,
Yeah.
but then bounced over to Pollock. That was his alma mater.
That's right. That's right.
And I think, where did Lou Randall go after he left? He went to Don Lugo, I think.
I think he did go to Don Lugo.
Which I didn't realize until recently. Public school.
Yes.
I'd always thought it was a parochial school. In Chino. You know, I grew up with Don Bosco, which is a parochial school in North Jersey.
Who was the best player to ever, best athlete to ever come out of Don Lugo?
Incomplete. That'll go over on downs.
Wasn't Diana Taurasi, or was she IL?
Oh, she
Don
was, I
Lugo.
think she was Don Lugo, yeah. My friend Peter Hughes came out of Don Lugo. He's the bassist for the Mountain Goats.
No way.
Yeah.
No way.
I hadn't seen him in a while. We hadn't talked in a while. Then I turn on David Letterman, and there he is.
The Mountain
playing
Goats.
bass on the Mountain Goats, yeah, with John Darnell. So he is a Don Lugo alum from Chino. They were in the Baseline League back in your day.
That's right.
Did you ever play against Khalid Chanel?
No, but I it's a wonderful cologne. Khalid Chanel?
He was a walk-on at UC Irvine and was really good, but he was also a student, like a great student. He
Yeah.
ended up becoming a doctor. He actually passed away very young,
Oh.
but he became a physician. Yeah.
Oh. I'm sorry he passed away, but he smelled delicious.
He could play a little bit, too. He was a walk-on. By his junior year, he was starting for the Anteaters.
Zot, zot, zot.
1st and 10 from the 13. And Jaden Gamble with the throw. That's a completion for John W. North. Up to the 28-yard line. So some of the young guys getting into the ball game for North as well. And now we'll see. And we saw him make an electrifying run earlier. Cameron Shannon in at quarterback. Shannon, a 5'10 sophomore. That's one thing we've definitely seen where North has improved, Jeff, in terms of depth. You know, they've always been a talented club, but now they have the depth. Fake to Ridgely. The throw is incomplete. Intended receiver was Carson Branch, the sophomore.
So we have 3 games next week. 3 big ones.
I'll be here for 2. Second and 10 from the 28. Nice job at the left side. Kevin Miller, I think, deflected that one. Again, was intended for Carson Branch. 3rd down coming up. You'll be able to do some presidential trivia with Nick Rice on Thursday.
Haven't seen that guy in a long time. Maybe he's grown.
He's taller.
He's like a little kid.
I talked with Nick not too long ago. We're both doing a little soccer this year, too, so we're talking soccer, believe it or not. Football. He's doing soccer for San Diego State. I'm doing it over in the Valley. 3rd and 10 coming up. Shannon goes down. Augie Arnez, the junior, makes the sack for Notre Dame. And you like to see that. You like to see, hey, you're down 49-0, but he's still coming hard and playing hard.
Playing hard, and I'll tell you what, that's one of those check mark off there. That's a victory.
Well, listen, and that's all coaching. You know, like, I think coaches sometimes get blamed for things they don't deserve.
Of course.
When your team is down 49-0, they're running the clock. If you're still playing hard, that illustrates leadership. That means that Coach Hunt and his staff, hey, listen, guys, this is a process. We're not going to win every game. The key for you guys is when league starts, we need to be ready. You can tell that Augie Arnez is one of those kids. He's going to be ready. He's buying in. 4th down coming up. A good stop for Notre Dame. Another check mark. North will punt it away. Here's the kick from Mason McGill. And it'll roll dead at about the 33-yard line, so a good kick. That's about a 50-yard kick, Jeff. Flips
nice.
the field. Yeah.
Check.
48-yard kick. So, yeah, again, another opportunity, right? Everybody making the most of your opportunities. Augie Arnez made the most of his opportunity. Now Mason McGill there.
Great kick.
Probably got himself another look on film. I'm a little disappointed. I wanted this to be a close game because I wanted to see those linebackers for North because, man, they're fun to watch.
They are, and it would have been wonderful to see those guys play an entire game.
So Jonathan Fierro back behind center. Taylor right up the gut.
Do you remember the Fierro car?
Of course, Pontiac Fierro.
Pontiac Fierro.
Anthony Posada in on the hit for John W. North. You ever drive a Fierro?
No.
They were small, right?
They were tiny. I would
Yeah.
have had to sit on the trunk.
For you guys not getting the visual, Jeff is about 6'8", so his
giant.
His legs would have had trouble in the Fierro. I mean, I'm 6'2". I would have had trouble in the Fierro.
Yeah, you would have. I drove a Miata once.
Mazda?
I did. Only once.
I don't want to be inappropriate, Jeff, but a woman was involved, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
It was our car. I just tried to drive it, and it was really small.
2nd and 10 from the 33. Low snap, and Fierro is going to run with it up to the 35, and he'll go down at the 37-yard line. Bearing in on him to make the play for John W. North was Terrence Brown. Also coming over top was the big fella Kevin Lara. He's a big guy, and he was getting over there pretty fast.
Quick.
Listed as 6 foot 270 in the roster. It's that old, that you ever watch Tommy Boy when he talks about big guy in a little coat? You're a big guy in a little car. Yeah. So what do you think? What's your assessment? I mean, North looked pretty impressive.
North is still number one right now in the computer rankings of City of Riverside. North is ranked number one.
Coming down to the end of the fourth quarter. This is pretty quick. The give to Taylor. 40-45 midfield. Taylor's got ahead of steam. Pushed out of bounds at about the 33. And that's the final horn. 49-0 the final for John W. North. The Huskies, Jeff, look really impressive. We know they're deep. We know they're talented. And their coaching staff wants them to kind of step it up and eliminate the mistakes. On the Notre Dame side, if you're a Notre Dame fan right now, I know you're disappointed. And you never want to lose 49-0, but you need to get healthy and just need to kind of get more game experience. And I just have full confidence in this staff that probably by week 4 or 5 you'll see a much improved Notre Dame team.
It'll be a much improved. And remember, North did play in the spring, and they played a pretty tough schedule.
Yeah.
Notre Dame just played 3 games. Transition from coach to coach to coach to
right,
coach
that's
to
the
coach.
tough one is that Coach
Yes.
Hunt came in. He didn't come in till May.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's tough, but honest to goodness, couple minor victories here in the second half, and it's just they're going to need a lot of gameplay, but I think they'll be just fine here come week 4 or 5.
You would have felt a lot better if Notre Dame had been able to punch one in. I like they got to stop. They got to stop against North defensively here, and that's something you can build on. And you got some experience for some guys. I like how Taylor ran. I thought Waleski acquitted himself very well in the first half.
A very good player, and that is one thing. He will make them a better team just by his play, his poise, and his tenacity. We saw it in the first half.
And last thing is a shutout pitched by the defense for North today, and they were our focus. But let me tell you something. Mikaele, that offensive line, the playmakers, but it's all the man at the controls is Jaden Gamble. And Gamble is the guy that can really make it happen for North if they get into a playoff situation where they're playing maybe a team on the road they haven't seen before.
And he plays with such confidence. The offense just played with confidence. And when you have a guy like that in the backfield that play with confidence, poise, and just kind of take the team on your shoulders offensively, they're going to be pretty good. But they definitely need to fix the penalties.
49-0 the final. The home team, the John W. North Huskies, knock off Notre Dame here at the Doghouse. 3-C, third in Chicago in the city of Riverside. For Jeff Gorham, for our entire award-winning Riverside TV crew, my name is Ghazal Hassan. We'll talk to you next week. So long, everybody.